Hi guys, this is Spartan765. Today I'm going to do a more thorough video on what to look for when you buy an AK-47 or an AKM or anything like that. This is a full video on what to look for so you don't get ripped off or anything. If you're wondering about this gun, it's a Russian-made AK-47. If you want to know more about it, watch my reviews on it. Okay, now the first thing you want to look for with an AK-47 is the guy's going to hand it to you. Take the safety out, pull the bolt back, and make sure it's not loaded. Okay? Obviously, they probably wouldn't be if it was on a shelf, but you never know. Okay. Now the next things you're going to want to look for is, well, what I do right away, right before I look at anything else, is I pull back the bolt and you put a bore light in here and look down the rifle bore to make sure that it's not pitted out or anything like that if you're getting a used one. This one is brand new. This is not, wouldn't be pitted out, but I generally check the bore to make sure it's not pitted right away before I do anything else. And if it looks like there's stuff in there and you can't tell if it's pitting or if it's dark or if it's just powder or something, ask him for a cleaning rod. If he refuses to give you a cleaning rod, or he won't let you clean out the bore to see if it's actually shiny or pitted, I would just leave right there. I wouldn't do anything else. The next thing you want to do if you're buying a used AK-47, if you're buying a new AK-47, there's not much to look at because it's brand new. But if you're buying a used AK-47, the next thing you'd want to check right away, being a Wasser 10, Polish, Bulgarian, whatever, is you want to pop off the receiver cover. Now some gun people or gun store owners may or may not, hang on a second, some gun store owners may or may not be happy with you doing this, but you got to let them know that before you invest $500 or $1,000 or whatever it costs into the gun, you want to make sure it's safe. Now what you got to do here, because especially if you get a used one, people may have screwed with it or bought it and decided they didn't like it and returned it. Pop off the receiver cover, just like this, very easy to do. And what you want to do here is you want to make sure that the serial number on the receiver matches with the serial number on the bolt and the bolt carrier. Now to do that, you just push in this. I'm not going to take it out. You just push in this, pull that out, and pull the bolt out, comes right out. Now that's an essential thing you want to do because you want to make sure the serials match in the bolt carrier and the bolt. Well, mainly the bolt because that would affect your headspace, and you want to make sure your headspace is good. The next thing you want to do is just give the AK-47 a shake. Make sure nothing wiggles around in it. Some normal things that may wiggle is on a Wasser 10. The gas tube may move back and forth a little bit. That's normal. Or the bolt here might go like this, just a little bit. That's normal because AKs are known for their tolerances. But what I'm talking about is loose parts in here. You don't want any of that. Another thing I generally look for is, again, is the it depends on what you're getting it for. If you're just getting it to shoot or you don't really care, it doesn't matter. But if you want one with a threaded muzzle, there's a lot of Romanian Wasser 10s out there and SAR ones that, or SAR stands for semi-automatic rifle. Don't ask me what Wasser stands for, I don't know. That have a muzzle nut on here that's welded on. And it's just tack welded on, just at the bottom. Now, if you're looking for a really cheap AK, that's the cheapest you're going to find. And the bayonet lug is usually removed on those types of Wasser 10s. But there's also Wasser 10s that are normal that have the 45-degree slant and bayonet lug. What I would do personally, I don't think it's illegal, but what I would do is, if I got a Wasser 10, it's just a little tack weld. What I'd do is just, take a Dremel with a disc grinder and just grind off the weld. Cut through the weld and then twist it off and put one on. But I don't know if that's legal or not, so you'd have to look that up with your local laws and everything on whether or not you can have a threaded barrel, or if it was locked up and welded, if you can cut the weld. By the looks of looking at several Wassers, I don't think you would hurt anything if you try to cut the weld. You just have to be careful or have it done by a gunsmith if you don't know what you're doing. Another thing I would look for is, if you're just looking for one that's generally a higher quality, if you're looking for a real high quality AK-47, I'd obviously go with a Russian one, but those are hard to find. This is a Russian one. But if you can't find a Russian one, Bulgarian and Polish AKs are also very good. Also the MAC 90s I'd go with next, but the MAC 90s tend to have or that's a Chinese made, tend to have a very crudely machined barrel. Like when they put it on the lathe, you can very easily see the machining marks. They're very evident, very easy. Most MAC 90s don't have threaded barrels either. Another thing to look for, if you're looking for stamped or milled receiver, a stamped receiver would be called an AKM or AKM 47. This is an AKM 47. 90% of all AK-47s manufactured in the world have stamped receivers. If you're looking for a steel or a milled receiver, the only difference is it's heavier. There's really no difference in accuracy or anything like that from what I've seen. It's just personal preference and what you like, I suppose. It's just mainly for looks. Milled is, again, just pretty much heavier. That's the only difference. And it has the milled out thing on the side there for the mag well. That's, again, just mainly for looks. But I like the stamped one better just because it's lighter, more maneuverable, easier to lift up, and it's not so heavy when it's fully loaded. If you're looking for stocks, again, on your Wasser 10s, most Wasser stocks will be wire brush. There will be no finish on them at all. Some of them will have a pistol, like a wooden handle with a grip here. That part will be stained, but the rest of it, the upper handguard and the stock pistol grip, or the stock, won't be stained. It'll be brushed. If you got kind of big hands and you want something that, you know, your standard AK or plastic pistol grip is kind of small, one thing I'd look into is getting a wooden pistol grip because they tend to be bigger. That's what I got on here. I just like the look of the all wood AK too. If you're looking to mount an optical scope on it, get one with a side rail mount here for a Russian optics. You don't ever want to put anything on the receiver cover. Receiver cover mounts are shit. They're worthless. They're crap. They're a waste of money. They're a joke. Don't ever get those because they're not accurate. They lose their zero after like the first shot. Another thing you want to look for, this is a very important part, is a canted front sight and canted gas block. Canted means moves slightly moves either severely or to the right or the left. Now, if you have a slightly canted gas block, which I'd say about, very slightly, like maybe off like a millimeter or two, maybe not even that much. That's normal on like 95% of AK-47s. That really doesn't matter. But one way to check if you got a slightly canted gas block in your AK is grab the bolt right here, pull it back slowly, just about that much, and just let it go in. Now, if you start to meet resistance right here when you pull it back, don't pull it back here, pull it back right up here. If you start, right up here. If you start to feel resistance when you let it go back in, you should just hear a different noise. That's the bolt locking. But if you feel resistance, that means your gas block would be canted too much, and it's rubbing inside there, and it'll more than likely cause problems in the future. If it's slightly canted and you feel no resistance, that's another. That's a good sign that it's okay and it's fine. Nothing's wrong with it. Canted front sight, another thing you want to look for. And this is on new rifles too. Canted gas block and front sight you want to look for. If you got a canted front sight, it's highly likely, even slightly canted, that your gun will not be as accurate as it's supposed to be. It'll either shoot far to the right or far to the left. The sight on this one is 100% zero. Gas block on here is pretty good too. Wait a minute, let me see. I think it's like, hard to see, but I think it's canted maybe a little bit to the right, like maybe a half a millimeter. It's hardly even, I don't know, if I look at it with my other eye, it looks like I suppose it's right in the middle then. But there's no problems with it. I don't think this one's canted at all. Works good. Another thing you want to look for is another personal preference that I like. There's smooth top and ribbed receivers, or receiver covers. Ribbed receiver covers are usually on your Romanian Wasser 10s, etc. But another reason I got this Russian one is because I like the flat top receiver. It's just a personal preference. Again, the looks of what you like or what you don't. Again, another thing is your bolt. If you like it shiny or black, I really don't care. But if you're ever going to combat with it, I'd probably want a black one because a shiny one would give you away. Other than that, that's really it with an AK-47 to look for buying. You got any questions, comments, send me a message. I don't reply to comments, only messages. Spartan765 out.